As the woman disappeared into the night, the flour sparkled under the moonlight, hinting at it. He tried again, this time with cakes. 10 cakes turned into 100. His bakery shelves overflowed. As Thomas continued baking, something went terribly wrong. The magic flour wouldn't stop multiplying. Every crumb on the floor turned into a full loaf. Loaves pushed against the walls. In a small village, there was a bakery run by a man named Thomas. Every morning, the delicious smell of freshly baked bread and cakes filled the streets, but only the rich could afford them. Despite having more than enough, Thomas refused to share. Whenever the poor people come asking for food, he turned them away, including a hungry little girl who stood outside his shop, staring at the warm loaves. The poor villagers used to feel sad knowing that Thomas would never give away even a crumb. One evening, as Thomas was closing his shop, a strange old woman in a tattered cloak appeared at his door. She held out a small sack of flour, its surface shimmering faintly in the candlelight. She offered the flour as a gift, claiming it had magical properties. It would multiply anything baked with a kind heart. Thomas, driven by greed, smirked at the idea of magic flour. He accepted it, but only because he hoped it would make him the richest baker in the world. As the woman disappeared into the night, the flour sparkled under the moonlight, hinting at its hidden power. The next morning, Thomas decided to test the flour. He kneaded a single loaf of bread and placed it in the oven. To his astonishment, when he pulled it out, the loaf had multiplied into 10. Excited, he tried again, this time with cakes. 10 cakes turned into 100. His bakery shelves overflowed with food. But instead of sharing, Thomas locked his doors, hoarding the magic flour for himself. Outside, the villagers knocked, asking if he could share the extra bread. But Thomas, blinded by greed, refused to give away even a single loaf. As Thomas continued baking, something went terribly wrong. The magic flour wouldn't stop multiplying. Every crumb on the floor turned into a full loaf. Loaves pushed against the walls, blocking the door. Cakes and pastries spilled from shelves, burying the bakery in dough. Thomas tried to stop it, but the bread kept growing, forcing him against the walls of his own shop. Then, with a loud crash, the bakery doors burst open, and a wave of bread and cakes flooded the streets. The villagers, startled, watched in shock as food poured out of the shop, tumbling onto the roads like an unstoppable flood. Instead of grabbing the food selfishly, the villagers helped clear the bakery. They gathered the bread and shared it among themselves, making sure no one went hungry. The hungry little girl, the same one Thomas had turned away, was the first to step forward. She dug through the piles of bread and pulled Thomas out. Exhausted and overwhelmed, Thomas finally understood his mistake. He saw the villagers smiling, laughing, and sharing something he had never done before. For the first time, he realized that true wealth wasn't in gold, but in kindness. A few days later, Thomas reopened his bakery, but this time things were different. For every loaf sold, he gave one loaf to the hungry. The bakery became a place of joy and generosity. The village thrived and no one ever went hungry again. Far in the distance, the mysterious old woman watched with a gentle smile before disappearing into the crowd, her mission complete. As Thomas pulled a fresh loaf from the oven, the bakery was filled with warmth, not just from the bread, but from the happiness of giving.
Moral of the story: honesty and hard work bring true happiness, while greed only leads to trouble.
If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more heartwarming tales.